All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special video today because today we're going to be talking about university life and what you guys really need to expect from life in general. So this video is for the upcoming graduates, of 2025, like my brother that graduated recently. And like what you guys really need to expect from it, from university, from living on your own. You know what I mean? I'm going to give you 5 points. And these 5 crucial points are very important. So let's get it. Okay, point number 1. University life is not as in movies. Like literally, it's not a movie or anything like that. But if you program your brain to think otherwise, good for you. But I gotta recommend you, man. Like you need to get the fuck out of that magic moment, you know what I mean? And just live the life the way it is. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be living in Madrid like me, which I really hope you do because Madrid is really nice. Y'all gotta know that parties here in Europe and especially here in Spain are crazy. They start literally from 11 till 7 a.m. and it's fun, you get used to it, and that's probably one of the aspects of university students for good memory measures, you know what I mean? And I know that y'all want to study here for that specific reason, so don't be telling me like you just want to study, unless if you're a nerd, which I understand. And this is point number 2. You guys really need to pay attention to this one because this is about time management. I get it that you guys like to party and stuff, but this is also one of the things that you really need to consider, and it is that you need to, you gotta manage your time. So yeah, just don't do anything dumb except for drinking on the weekends, bro. I get it, but like partying every day, if that's what you want, do it. But I'm just telling you, like, just heads up. So yeah. All right, now we go to point number 3, ladies and gentlemen. The thing is that is really important is also you need to speak the language of the people. At least you need to know some basic words. All right, for the starters, some basic words, and then with time, with more, being in the country, you gotta learn some words. Trust me, from my experience, Duolingo has helped me out a lot. And if Duolingo is one of the things that you would want to learn the language, I would assume that is perfect. But you can also take classes, etc. It's not up to me to decide your future, but it is important to know the language of the people, right? And most importantly, it's also good when you actually come up to the people and you also say, hola, ¿qué tal? Buenas. You know what I mean? You need to introduce yourself. To the elderly people, be kind. Kindness is also important. And it is part of 3 because you need to communicate. You need to show respect. That's how you show respect. Not speaking English, bro. So keep that in mind. Point number 4. People. You need to know exactly the area that you're going to be living in. When you're going to move into an area, you need to know exactly the kind of atmosphere that is in your area. Let's be honest, from my experience, I was not doing a lot of research on this, right? I did not care about the area. I thought it would be cool and everything, right? I am hell of a lucky guy that I'm living in Via Viciosa de Adon. It is really, it's safe, it's calm. There are elderly people walking around everywhere. And that's what I meant by also being kind to the elderly, because in the areas that you might be living in, you never know. But in general, just speaking, Madrid is pretty safe from my point of standards. To you might be a bit different, I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is that you guys really need to do thorough study, because I even heard from other people that have been saying to me that, for example, they've been doing their first year, for example, in America, and then they moved here to Madrid. Their experience when they moved in, they didn't do a lot of research. But when they arrived to the area where they were living in, for example, they arrived in an area full of drug addicts, alcoholics, walking around, you know what I mean? And that is crazy. So just bear in mind that you need to know the safety of the area. I mean, it's common sense, but you guys need to know that. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta let y'all know, point number 5 is that you need to find yourself a place that is in your own satisfaction. There are residences, such as related to universities. There are resis, for example, like a house, and it's divided for like 5 people. And there are unusual, some people I see, they rent a place and they share it with a friend. Or some people just live alone, but they pay a lot of money for rent, for utility bills and fees, etc. So in terms of your own liking, if your parents got dinero, I recommend personally going to residences, because that's where you're going to meet a lot of people. That's where you're going to make friends. That's where you can go on adventures. Some residences have gyms included. So if you're like a gym dude, you know what I mean? And if you like working out, doing all that, it's up to you. And so here you have it, 5 points. The points that I hope are going to be really helpful for you guys, because this is really important. You guys really need to keep it up here. So yeah, enjoy the upcoming years of living on your own. But most importantly, also don't forget about your family, because your family are going to be there. They are the ones paying for your tuitions. Don't be disrespectful. And before you guys head off, I want to say thank you for watching the video, but as well, follow me on my Instagram, on my main page, and on my other page called Bad Gesture Designs. I'm doing my Photoshop work in there. So if you guys are interested in seeing some of my things that I'm doing, related to architecture, or just in general, me just, experimenting with life, experimenting with things on platforms, please support.